It needs to be said we've had about 25 bills that deal with elections and voting, and I think almost anybody could say to themselves, what on earth is going on? There seems to be this mythology that we have all these voting irregularities and this massive fraud. I began this session thinking that, there was some lack of faith in our voting process, and we maybe needed to address it. But I have come to the conclusion that this is far less noble. And in the spirit of the champion of the 1957 Voting Rights Act, I have been trying to send the message that we are not encouraging voting. We are not making voting easier in any way, shape, or form by these bills. And back in 1957, with the leadership of President Dwight Eisenhower, Republicans were doing that. And that makes me sad, frankly.
While there was no prior debate, Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald said this is going to even the playing field for rural areas where the rural clerks can't keep the offices open. I see there's $200,000 earmarked now as part of this Senate legislation passed today. A, is that enough? And B, why not put more money in it, Dale, and expand the voting hours across the state? Why reduce them in all areas?
Well, you have me somewhat at a disadvantage because I can't find any real reason for doing what we're doing. I talk to clerks regularly. I get around my district, and the overwhelming sentiment is, please stop helping us, quote unquote, because you're making our job impossible. You're making it impossible for us to get people to be here to do elections, and different places have different needs. I don't see how you can claim to be improving things by actually reducing hours, as illogical as that sounds. But, maybe this is Never Land. Who knows? But, it's just, I think, sad when a political party, my political party, has so lost faith in its ideas that it's pouring all of its energy into election mechanics. It ought to be abundantly clear to everybody in this state that there is no massive voter fraud. The only thing that we do have in this state is we have long lines of people who want to vote, and it seems to me that we should be doing everything we can to make it easier to help these people get their votes counted, and that we should be pitching as political parties our ideas for improving things in the future rather than mucking around in the mechanics and making it more confrontational at our voting sites and and trying to suppress the vote.
And one of the things I did not know, which really struck me as I try to be fairly well read doing this show, is that now we're going to be able to vote between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. And that seems, it's an 11-hour window in a day, 55 hours in a week. They should be able to get some time in there. But what I was not aware until the reporting of Patrick Marley today is that that's limited to a total of 45 voting hours within that 5-day span. How can I sit and defend, as I do often on the show, some of these conservative policies if it's just not trying to shut down other cities' voting opportunities?
Let me just say, my friend, I am not willing to defend them anymore. I'm just not, and I'm embarrassed by this. And, I didn't try to be an obstructionist or act out. We had enough of that going on. Furthermore, these bills came up rather swiftly at the end of the session here. I don't think we gave people adequate opportunity to comment on them. And I think I just see it as plain wrong. It is all predicated on some belief that there is massive fraud or irregularities, something my colleagues have been hot on the trail of for the last 3 years and have failed miserably at demonstrating.